This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome to Off the Break Podcast. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Eric.
Welcome back.
Hello.
I made a 6-hour drive to be here for this podcast today.
We appreciate it a lot.
I am dedicated.
Yeah, no, we appreciate
Yeah.
it. I wouldn't want to make a 6-hour drive and then immediately go to the office and.
Oh no,
Immediately. we made one stop on the halfway point on our drive and refueled and then drove straight to the office. I have not yet got to see my babies yet and got smooches, so we're gonna wrap this up pretty fast today. Okay, guys.
It has been quite a slow week, so
Slow for you.
So for you, but yeah, you were off.
we had pretty much opposite weeks.
You were off where again? For
I
the
was
NATO
in
convention.
Spokane, Washington, at the Rocky Mountain NATO convention.
Right.
I was telling people it was Seattle when I called for you.
That sounds so posh, though. Like so like that sounds big leagues. Rocky Mountain's awesome, but not Seattle. Like big convention, awesome. No, but it was great, and we were at the historic Davenport Hotel, which is amazing and beautiful, and so it was really fun to be in these like super ornate, glitzy ballrooms, like what you think of as like a
Seattle.
ballroom, and talking about theater owner stuff.
Yeah.
It was good. I got to see a lot of colleagues. I got to see a lot of film company people. Got to see some, footage for some upcoming stuff. I got to screen Abominable. So
you saw the whole movie?
Yeah, Universal brought Abominable. I had to miss the other screening they had, unfortunately, because, at these things, you can't always make everything because you want to take time out to take people out to dinner and do that sort of thing. So I missed the other screening, but I did get to see Abominable, and I did get to see the product reels, so that was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they also have vendors come in and show off their products too, and
I don't know
as well as studios showing up with theirs.
About anybody else, but I loved this trade show. It's on the smaller scale than what you get obviously in Vegas, which is huge, but it's on a smaller scale. You get to actually have time to hit every booth, and
it probably makes it a little more intimate.
And it's not every day. So, the way they had it set up, I thought was awesome. We had certain events each day, but the trade show was just one day, a huge block in the afternoon. Everybody wasn't just waiting around. You got in, you got out, you got to see who you wanted to, and then those vendors weren't stuck waiting there, as people meandered through. It was really, when the trade show time came, everybody was bound and determined to hit everything in the trade show. So that it was just so well done.
Nice. That's good to hear.
There was a few seating companies. Just got to sit in some more luxury seating and find out more.
I would love to just go down the line testing them all out.
Oh,
yeah,
there are differences.
Oh, but this one, the lumbar support.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. They have chairs where, it's dual motor, so you can adjust your back support and your leg support like independent of each other.
Those are ads for beds like that on TV.
Yeah.
That looks really weird, but it's probably comfortable.
They have them where they're heated. You can get a heated seat. Oh,
I know probably a lot of people would love that since so many people are like, the movie theater is freezing.
Yeah. What else they have where you can have them firmer, more cushy. You can have big armrests. You can have tray armrests. I mean, there's so many options. Like, you really have to think about the services that you want to have for the theater, and then design your chair around your services, because
I just want endless plush, and I want to sink into the chair.
like
only
how
my
wide?
eyes are like visible.
Yeah.
So I can see the screen just surrounded by comfort.
No, they even had at one point a short panel on architecture changes in movie theaters, not just retrofits, but new builds, and how I think the point was they were trying to talk about how the theaters are getting smaller, more intimate with the reclining chairs, but it didn't quite go the way I think the point was to make. But I think it just should be reiterated that because of chair usage and utilization of your butts and seats philosophy that I like to talk about here, the recliners are the way to go. I know a lot of people are just doing nice new seats, but I think the biggest...
It's not enough.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that came out of it that I was a little disappointed was to think that just because you have a small town theater and you only serve maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people, that those people in your town don't like or deserve or expect luxury seating that they would find in a big city.
Yeah, I mean,
just because you're the only game in town doesn't mean you don't up your game.
Well, my parents, I talk to them about what movies they saw all the time, and they have 2-3 theaters there, but 99% of the time they go to the luxury seat ones.
Right.
It's it's just the experiences.
It's what they want.
Yeah.
And I think as a suggestion that I would make for the next convention is just to reiterate to theater owners about sometimes educating them on media dollars. We talk a lot about that with video games. Like
I know we've talked about that a lot on this podcast too.
Yeah. I just finished Assassin's Creed. That game cost me $60. And you're like, oh, I could go to the movie 6 times on an average ticket for that. But I played that video game 200 hours.
Yeah. No,
like
a lot of bang for your buck.
It's so much bang for your buck. I haven't even gotten to the expansion packs yet. That's probably another 100 hours the way I play the game.
All for $60.
Yeah. I mean, and then another $20 for the expansion packs.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm the exact same way with games. At the moment of purchase, it's like, whew, I'm gonna sink $50+ into this. But then fast forward a year, 2 years, sometimes even more. It's like I'm still
playing it. Yeah. And then you add on the binge streaming, series. So like Witcher, that video game is being made into a mini series, so it's bigger than a movie. I'm going to get multiple episodes, but it's going to have the arc of a movie. I mean, it's just what makes theaters different isn't as much. I mean, it is the content, and it's always going to be content driven, but
it has to be more.
It has to be more.
Yeah.
And more is going to be, what seat do I have? And it's picture and sound matter, but not as much as the seat I'm sitting in. Like, I feel
personally, I disagree, but I get what you're saying.
Well, that's because we're accustomed to notice those things, but
we ask for the finer.
A majority of the
things in
people,
life.
because with
they
my friends
notice.
and stuff, I'll rant about how the speakers don't work at our theater, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I didn't even notice."
Yeah, true, true.
No, and to be
We're the
honest, like
exception.
when
we're snobs.
When I consult people on like where they should spend their money in the theater, I'm like, get yourself a decent projection, get yourself decent sound, get yourself really nice seats, expand your concession menu. Do those extra things that unless you're going to do maybe, and I would even argue that maybe doing a sound above picture is even more important. Like
sound is infinitely more important.
Yeah, than picture.
It really, I would agree with that too. It really
That's like film
helps.
school 101.
Right.
Like a poor picture with good sound will be artsy, but a good picture with poor sound will just be bad.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, and I feel like that's something we know, but like it wasn't really talked about. And I think that there's a lot of independent theater owners that were being slightly led astray. Like,
yeah, I can see
about
that.
that a little bit.
Probably not purposefully, but it's like,
No.
no, guys, you got to see it. It's not quite like that.
I felt like it was small thinking was being presented as like the main thought. That more giving more importance to what it really is than what's actually happening with consumers out there.
And maybe there's just theater owners that don't realize that, even if they're being told that. Well, there just has to be that fine way of really explaining and harping to the owner, like, hey, like these things are important. You may think they're too expensive, or you may think that they're not important, but trust us, like with the changing times, like these things will be important.
I think it's
to keep
hard.
your theater afloat.
I think it's hard for owners, especially independent owners, for a number of reasons. For decades, it's all been about the movies. Like that wasn't America's pastime, was movies and sports. And as we get into this new media landscape, it's just so different. And it's just really, it goes against all of their experience. I mean, some of these people have had movie theaters for like 30, 40 years. It's just so different nowadays.
Like, what do you mean it's different now? This has always been.
Yeah, it's always been product driven.
Yeah, well, sorry, not anymore.
So you got a little bit of that. You've got people, having a movie theater is tough, and it's a tough industry, and you can struggle like any other business. And so you're asking people to make significant, contributions to their theater and upgrades that they just might not feel could pencil out. Well,
yeah, no, sometimes they're like, I've been running this, I know how things go.
Right. I'm never going to make
you
my money back on that.
You put on a movie, you get money.
Right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
But I feel like what they're doing is just catering to an audience, like slowly they're losing the audience that does matter for, because that audience is going to go out and experience these nice luxury theaters. So to say like, I'm the only theater in town, it's inconvenient for them to go anywhere else. Why should I upgrade? As long as I have a clean, well-managed theater, it should be fine. Well, people are going to start wanting what they get in other places locally,
especially their own homes. Like they're trying to get them out of their homes so that way they can have almost a similar experience.
You're not competing with that theater that's in the big city with the recliners. In the sense that you're
with what's at their homes, your customers'
people
homes.
have their favorite chair, their spot on the couch that they love. It's fitted to them. They don't want to get up and go to some chintzy little like hard kind of fold down thing,
or even a
rocker. Sticky floors, the poor sound.
I don't really like rockers on my movie theater chair or seat.
I don't like to lean back that little bit.
I like to lean back, but sometimes I've had ones that are like kind of loose, and it's like it doesn't stay in one
Recliners
spot.
are fine. Rockers, I'm with you. I don't really like it when they move
those
that much.
Recliners, those big oversized ones though.
Yeah,
luxury ones. That's why they're
my
the way
thing
to go.
is when I go to the movie, I like to put my feet up.
Oh, I put my feet up every time.
And
always look for the bar.
And if you do if you do a rocker, people are still
D10.
putting their feet up on your brand new rockers, and they're still like destroying the back of them, and you're not saving any money by not upgrading,
and they're just going to look
leg
bad
rests.
the more they get worn on, or
those leg
trash
rests
the look from shoes, and
they're like the biggest perk.
Yeah,
those putting your feet up. Oof, I love it.
We get it. It's hard to spend those dollars, but it might be able to be worth it.
What's great about when you upgrade something in the theater, like that's more like a service and a luxury field, like the seats, you can raise ticket prices without consumers getting upset because they see the investment. They see what their ticket price bought it
before the ads or anything has even started. They sit down.
They're like, oh.
I mean, I would say that the seat is probably the first thing they notice when you actually go into the auditorium. Maybe you look up at the screen, but unless you're like at an IMAX and you're like, whoa, it's huge. It's just a normal movie theater.
Yeah.
But once you sit down, you're like, ooh, this is where I get to spend the next 2 hours.
Whether you're a film snob like us or not, like the first thing everyone majorly notices is the seats.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think that's why Stadium was such a huge thing about 15 years ago, and why it really I noticed
that's like
that
where it's inclined, right?
It's Stadium is the different levels,
so you can
raised.
See over the people's heads in front of you.
And I noticed that here in our town that we're in now, there was a sloped floor theater, and a brand new stadium went in, and it put the sloped floor theater out of business. And now
that's right. It did. That's right. It did
completely put it out of business, even though that sloped floor theater was across from the college.
I forgot it was sloped.
Like literally, college kids could walk to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was before my time here.
Yeah, and now because it put it out of business, if the tides had been like reversed, that sloped floor theater could put in luxury so much easier than the stadium theater we have now, because they didn't build the risers wide enough to accommodate the new chairs, because that wasn't ever something in the plan. And if the theater was still in existence, it would probably put the stadium theater out of business. I would not be surprised if that's the case. If they had kept it sloped floors, put the recliners in, and given it a facelift. Unfortunately, now it's a grocery store and a brewery.
Though it is a good brewery.
Oh, that building.
But you're right, though. It is unfortunate.
That would have been a cool place for a movie theater.
Just some history on it. That used to be a 3-plex, and then they expanded to a 5, and then they expanded again, I think, to an 8.
6?
I think it was an 8 when it was finally done.
Okay.
But I
want to go to a movie.
You know why?
It's actually amazing that they all fit in that space that we're thinking of.
Do you know why?
No one's like, why does this matter?
Right.
I don't. But
remember that round window that was like overlooking a lobby, and you're like, that's creepy? That used to be an exterior window. That was my dad's office.
Yeah, I remember your dad telling us that. That's right.
Yeah.
Because he's
that's why they had 2 lobbies too. Because they never changed that.
Picture houses.
Yeah. So what else did I learn and see? So I screened Abominable. Universal brought that. Super cute. Great timing on it. It comes out the end of the month, and we haven't had a kids movie pretty much all month, so that's going to be awesome.
Since Angry Birds, but that somehow flopped.
Yes. It didn't
Weirdly
do great.
Enough, yeah.
So I think this one will be good. I felt like it recycled some characters from previous DreamWorks films, but apparently I've been told that's not the case.
I'm sure they recycled the films, but
this was a DreamWorks movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It's DreamWorks.
Yeah.
It's about a girl, Yi, who has lost her father, and she is keeping busy with her life, and her mom and her grandma are getting worried about her, and she comes across this Yeti that has escaped a research facility and lands on her roof, and she forms a connection with the Yeti and decides to take him home to Mount Everest, and so they have to travel across China to get to.
Did you ever see Smallfoot?
Yeah.
Which Yeti movie is better?
Ooh.
It's a superior
we
Yeti
have
movie.
to know.
Ooh.
They're probably not that similar movies, but they both have Yetis. And how many animated kids movies with Yetis
I think
are
the Yeti in
There was
Abominable
also-
is cuter. I like the more magic aspect of that because there's not much magic in Smallfoot, but I thought the Smallfoot story was a little bit better because there's that twist where you find out that all their stories and stuff were just to hide them, to keep them not knowing the truth about the humans and stuff, and then the leader, knows the truth.
I'm trying to remember if Missing Link from
I think
back
the
in
story's
April.
a little bit better.
I forgot if they went to Mount Everest too or not.
They do. He's trying
Is
to
it
find.
Mount Everest?
I think it's something in the
There's a
Himalayas
snowy
he's
part
a
of it.
he's a Bigfoot, not a Yeti, but he goes
to find his
to
cousins.
Everest because he thinks he's a Yeti too, or they're cousins. I'm trying to.
Yetis.
Wow, that movie
And then
came out back in April.
Then
but
they
I can't
shun
remember most
him
of it
and
now.
attack him, and
Yetis are so
Sure.
hot right now.
yeah.
Yeah, Mount Everest. That's kids are loving Mount Everest these
do you
days.
think Yetis will replace the Avengers?
Yetis is the next big thing.
Yeah.
Yetis,
Why not?
assemble.
Why not?
No, it was
The
it
sign
was
of the
cute,
times,
though.
guys.
I definitely felt guilty watching it without the kids there, though.
Yeah, I bet.
But
I'm sure they'll be just fine.
it was kind of cool. We went to this downtown historic theater called the Garland, and we had ice cream from the cutest little ice cream truck you've ever seen. And they even had a dairy-free version because I can't do dairy. So I had this awesome dairy-free ice cream. And then they had a local brewery come and do beers for us, and it did a beer tasting. So that was really cool.
Nice.
Microbrews. It was called Iron Goat Brewery.
What an awesome name.
And the ice cream was called The Scoop.
The Scoop.
The Scoop. It was
Of
really
course.
cute. So that was really fun. And yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it
When's-
sounds like a good time.
When is the next one of these? Do you know off the top of your head, or?
I think there's one next week called Geneva
Yeah.
Convention
Okay.
in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And then there is the NATO annual board meetings, I think, are in LA after that. And then I'm not sure. I think there's I don't know. I have to look. I know there's a Show Canada at some point. I think that's in June, though.
Lots of NATO stuff.
And a Show East.
They're like Comic-Cons. They pop up all over the place.
They do. And then CinemaCon, which I will be attending, I think it's April
It's around that time
March or
usually.
April.
Yeah.
of next year.
Beginning
So,
of April sometimes.
in
We'll have to make sure
Vegas.
those dates are up on SSI's calendar.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go to the calendar view, we usually have them under industry is the kind of thing we categorize them as.
Yeah. So if you guys want to check that out on silverscreeninsider.com,
Yeah, you can
hopefully
go to
those dates are up there, but we'll double check.
You can go to the film database and hit the calendar.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's Insider's Almanac is our calendar view for now.
Oh, right.
That's going to change down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting ahead of ourselves.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Letting
But
too
for
much
now,
out.
that's where you can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any wrap up stuff? There was good talks, good screening. Oh, I did get to see some more footage of Bad Boys. The film companies brought their reels, and for the most part, I had seen all the trailers that they showed. I mean, they had a little bit extras in them. They tried to show us a little bit of stuff of Jumanji, but the special effects weren't done yet, so it was just
like wires and
very
green
rough, storyboarded. But it gives you an idea of the scale of the
really?
movie.
It's like September now, and the movie's in December. Well, okay,
they
I guess.
I think they have probably initial special effects done, but nothing for a trailer. So that,
Yeah, they
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Probably just wait and show the VFX in their full instead of like
yeah,
infant
partially
stages.
done stuff.
Yeah.
So that looks really good. And a lot of the cast is returning, and then you're getting new cast. So that's, I mean, all the main original player characters are there. The kids and stuff, I think only some of them are coming because there's the new, the
Danny Glover.
Yeah, the grandpas.
And
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Awkwafina is also in there, Cody. So there you go. Yeah.
Awkwafina.
Oh yeah, she'll be great.
So that was really fun. And then I saw Bad Boys. It was like an extended trailer with more of Red Band with more of the scenes and stuff in it.
More banter, more explosions.
I got done with that. And I'm like, we totally got to watch Bad Boys 2 now. Like, we've got to see it before this comes out. I did finish the first Bad Boys while I was there.
Oh, awesome.
The ending was exactly how I thought it was going to end.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No surprises.
Well, you've got until December to make your way through the second one.
Yes. So yeah, it just really good. Very much recommend it for everybody.
Bad Boys
and Rocky Mountain NATO.
Oh, okay.
We still on Bad Boys?
Yeah,
cool.
We're gonna talk about Bad Boys. I can recap Bad Boys when I see the second one.
Okay.
We can't wait for that.
Well, speaking of second entries, Kyle had a chance to see It Chapter 2, and he thought it was scary.
It was terrifying.
It's not scary.
Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is the most scariest thing of my life. But at the same time, though, I do see why some would probably consider it to be not as scary as the first. Like the complaints you had about it, like I saw them. I saw that they were pretty evident. I still thoroughly enjoyed myself. But I'm kind of on the same page with Eric for most of what he said on last week's podcast.
Yeah, that's
as well as his review, which is up now.
It's kind of the general consensus of critics and a good amount of audiences is, it's still fun to see the losers club together as grown-ups. The casting's great, but
their chemistry is terrific.
That middle stretch just, I don't know, it takes a lot of the air out.
Yeah, I like it because I like it because it kind of shows their own other issues that they had that wasn't really addressed in the first ones, and I thought they were able to wrap it up towards the end really well. But I agree with you. It's stretched in the middle because of it, for sure.
It's just
with that repeated pattern.
Formulaic. It's like, okay, and Pennywise is going to pop up right now.
And it still creeped me out. Still scared me.
Do you think it would have done better? Because some criticism I heard is that it was just too long. Do you think?
Well, it's too long because of that middle stretch.
Yeah. If they would have just picked the 3 main ones or 2 of them to do that, and then had them come together, and everybody's got their token or whatever.
Or like, if they could just show the human side of it and not have to show Pennywise show up and scare every single one of them every time at the exact same point.
It might have helped if they stayed in one group or in small groups and tried to find ways to extend on their characters a bit more in groups instead of individually in the middle part. That possibly could have helped.
Like experienced it together, but they were
somehow,
in their own experiences.
And obviously that's not how it works in the book, but the movie is already different enough in other places.
Well,
so
an adaptation like this is a perfect opportunity to improve on maybe some of the structural problems from the source material.
Yeah, there's something about a story that you, especially in a book, that you can draw out scenes more and get more in depth and a lot more
tell
description.
It from that character's perspective.
Right. But when you add to a visual storytelling, you need to condense it. It needs to be short. It needs to be, the visuals have to tell the story, and I feel like they got lost in that idea that the visuals are telling it.
Yeah, it's just you have the one formula and you repeat it 6 times in a row, back to back to back to back, and it's I don't know.
Scared Kyle really bad.
It did.
Did you watch it at night?
Yeah,
or did you do matinee?
I watched it at night. Not matinee. Watched it pretty late.
Did you go with friends?
Yeah, they didn't help me.
Did they walk you out to your car?
No. Actually, that's not true. Like one of them did.
What was the scariest part?
All of it.
Seriously?
No, actually the scariest part for me is that bleacher scene. Like if you've seen some of the shorter trailers,
it's the exact same scene from the first movie.
Yeah, but it works.
No,
works. Gosh darn it!
You know he's gonna eat that little girl.
Oh, of course he is.
It's like, okay, is he gonna eat her now? No, okay, I guess not. How about now?
But at the same time, I didn't want it to be me that he eats. Well, what if it was me, Eric?
Well, then you'd be dead, and you wouldn't be scared anymore.
Well, that just makes me sad.
Yeah.
He is great in that scene.
He eats a little girl.
No, he's terrific.
Yeah, he eats like this little girl.
Meanwhile,
under the bleachers
Cody's
at a baseball game.
Oh.
And he's like, he guilts her into thinking like everybody always laughs at me because I look funny, and she's like, I have a birthmark. People laugh at me too.
Which, by the way, I had no clue that was a birthmark until she said that. I was like, I thought that was just a shadow that whole time.
And then he's like, oh, we both look weird. Come over here. And then he eats her.
Oh.
It's the exact same scene as the opening of the first movie.
Oh.
I mean, yes, it is, but still works,
that's
man.
why I can't watch these movies. I can't do it. I'm already upset. And you just told me about it. I didn't visually see it, but I can only imagine.
Yeah, he like
it is a really
his
good
mouth
scene, though.
opens wide. And he has
don't
like
need the
1,000
details.
teeth, and he's like,
I'm thinking about it again. Like, it's such a cool scene, but it scared me.
it's an okay scene.
I liked it a lot, but I am online with what
a
Eric's
dead
saying.
center
about
in
it.
your heart or something. There is something.
No, it's just not a
Pennywise shaped.
Yeah, like maybe your soul is
piece of the
missing a little
puzzle.
bit.
It's
Like
definitely not missing. I can feel feels, but if it's not done well, then I'm not gonna feel as much because I'm gonna be like, you could have done this way better, and then I would have felt something. But
my
you kind of
gosh.
dropped the ball on your execution there, buddy.
Yeah.
she died in vain.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Killing kids for nothing here. Come
Her
on.
death was kind of boring and repetitive.
No.
Her death was kind of boring and repetitive. No, I don't know. I get why people didn't think it wasn't as scary as the first, but I'm
It's
just
not just as scary.
I'm just the biggest.
Do you
scaredy
think it's
cat,
going to get
though.
the repeat viewing that made the first one so successful? I kind of have a
don't
feeling
think
it's
so.
not.
Not as much.
I don't think so.
It'll still be successful, but not as much.
Yeah. So do you think Hustlers is going to beat it this weekend?
It could. I mean,
Telling you guys,
Hustlers
there's
is
been
kind of
hype.
getting. It's kind of like a.
It's getting some
It's
buzz.
a surprise how well it's been received.
Getting some hype.
People are
You think
going
it's Cardi
crazy
B?
for J-Lo.
You think it's J-Lo or do you think it's Cardi B?
Oh, it's
No,
Cardi
it's-
B and
it's-
Lizzo. Like
Yeah,
it's
for
Well,
sure.
that's probably why people will go see it. But
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez, I almost said Lawrence. Jennifer Lopez is. People are like talking like Oscar Best Actress stuff for her.
What?
Yeah, like legitimately.
I'm gonna see it tonight, so I'll let you know if that's deserving or not.
I don't
but
know if
I don't know.
that
We'll see.
speaks to how good she is or speaks to how poorly all the other actresses have done this year.
Or if the director just was
I don't
able
know.
to bring out a really good performance. I don't know. I've been really curious about this movie for a while. I'm looking forward to
Kyle's
seeing
love
it.
those trailers.
It's a good trailer.
It's okay.
It's super
It's
good,
it's
Kyle.
clearly working.
Yeah.
I always get the "I love morning sex" line stuck in my head every
Yeah.
time I see that trailer. Something, something, something. I love morning sex.
I want the remix now with Cardi B and Eric. Eric's featured on her
Make it
song. Yeah,
Cool.
but it's possible that it could be able to outperform.
It'll be close if it doesn't. It'll be close.
It will. Yeah, exactly.
September
It'll
is
be
such a weird month.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guess who will not be seeing it at all this weekend?
MoviePass user. I thought that's where you were going.
I was
with that.
wondering. I didn't have a clue. I was like, "Who, Eric?"
Yeah, no, I mean, really to the surprise of no one, but to the huge relief and celebration of myself.
And film companies.
and us.
MoviePass is officially calling it quits effective tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just found out about that like 3 hours ago. Yeah, tomorrow they're calling it quits. What's the parent company? Helios and Matheson, I think.
Yeah.
They put out a statement, and I'm slightly paraphrasing, but they're like,
We're shut down.
MoviePass has been unable to find a solution at all. Like, there's no telling if or when they'll ever come back.
Right.
So yeah, it's starting tomorrow.
They're gone.
They're gone.
Well, I think, they had a model that was unsustainable because they had to pay per capita prices. Like,
oh yeah. Oh no, we've been talking about
So-
this for over a year now.
But
Mark
now
it down,
they
guys.
have-
Episode 77.
Right.
This is it.
they have the competition
final.
from the major theater chains for their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whatever anybody ever says about MoviePass, what it showed was that people liked the subscription
Oh, yeah.
model
No,
for movie going. That price point does matter and it
Mm-hmm.
does affect movie going. And then if you can get entry prices down, theater ticket prices down, you will get more people going. But
yeah, no, I mean that's kind of what we touched on the last time we talked about the story. I I was sure to mention that in the write-up I did, but if anything, MoviePass ended up just a horrible dumpster fire.
Right.
But it kind of set the whatever.
I think-
It showed that people are more than willing
Right.
to go to the movie theater.
We talked about this at the Rocky Mountain NATO just briefly, because there just is some barriers to a really good subscription model. One of them being the film companies themselves. They want their per capita prices that have been established. They don't want to lose money in the market for more people to go. So that's always going to be an issue, because if you always had to pay established prices where they're at today and you can never go down in price, then through the subscription model, like how do you charge for the tickets? Where do you base your subscription model, which for the breakage point, the point at which you cover your expense to the film company and it's still a deal. You still save from your average ticket price. And if your average ticket price is, a certain amount, it's just really hard to get that savings in there. Yeah. So I think the subscription model works for the major theater chains because they can afford to lose a little because they can make up that difference. But there's a lot of independents that just can't afford to do that.
No, it's still kind of a rocky path, but I mean, out of MoviePass's ashes, the AMC one, A-list, they're growing.
They're growing.
And Regal's still pushing their new thing.
Yeah.
So.
It's it'll be I think it could be a good thing for movie going. It's just, I think it's so predicated on the studios either doing something with their terms, or doing something allowing the per capitas to go down in certain markets so you can get a loyalty subscription program going for independents.
I'm confident that, this subscription thing will center itself and the methods that don't work will be weeded out. I mean, everything is subscription model based now. Everything. Yeah. There's even subscription car washes now. You pay like...
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
I can get subscriptions to the spa.
Yeah. No, everything.
So I can get one spa treatment a month.
Yeah, my grandpa loves to wash his car, and he has a car wash subscription, and he washes it every single day.
He washes his car every day?
Every day.
Oh.
The man loves his car.
I wish I had the time.
That's fair.
That's good.
Well, he's retired now. So.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, well, bye, MoviePass.
Yeah, good riddance. Mitch Lowe. I don't want to read any more Mitch Lowe emails.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Ugh. Good riddance to those, too.
No, I think
it did really pave the way for all the other models.
Thanks for what you did, but what you became.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Where
butt of the joke.
They crossed the line for me is where they were trying to get cuts of the theater's concession, saying that because of them they're bringing people in. I thought at that point you crossed the line and now you've turned into the enemy. You're dangerous now.
And then when that didn't work, they started lying to their customers and freezing their accounts.
Yeah, they also blacked out some of their times and shows as well.
They're blacking out everything.
And then they
except for movies that had been out for 5
basically
months.
like the majority of them.
Yeah, and then they blacked out locations just randomly. So
right. Yep. Well, mark it down, guys. Episode 77, the conclusion to MoviePass for this podcast.
MoviePass 2017 to 2019.
Yeah.
September 14th, 2019 was its death day.
It was its death day.
Another thing we wanted to talk about regarding the theaters is a Hollywood Reporter did a survey on the ideal number of trailers, and we just thought this was super interesting. I'll let you talk about it a little bit more, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, so what Hollywood Reporter found was that for who they all polled, 59% of audiences are wanting to have about 1 to 3 trailers shown before a movie.
Maximum, right?
21% of them preferred 4 to 6 trailers, and then after that, it's basically just a big drop off of 2% being like, I would want 7 to 9 maybe, or
they're probably just like, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I mean,
however many you want to play.
There was a percentage, I forget the percentage that it was, but there was like a sizable percentage who was like, I don't know, 0 trailers would be awesome, or like 1% was, 10 plus trailers, like I'd rather have 15 or something like that. But the majority is about audiences are wanting 1 to 3 trailers.
And I could have told you that myself. I mean, I hate going to the movie and it's like 25, sometimes 30 minutes of previews, and it's like, oh my gosh.
15 to 20 minutes of previews, plus whether that includes the theater promotions or not is a mystery. Yeah. It just depends on the theater itself.
Because there's commercials now. Oh, do you remember when you used to go and there was no commercials?
No,
I don't think I remember that.
I
Truth
remember
be told,
the day, and I hated when they introduced commercials because I don't even have TV. I don't want to see commercials anywhere.
That's true. Nowadays, really.
I pay for the nice Hulu so I don't have commercials.
Yeah, same here. It's it's weird. The movie theater is like the main place I see ads. It's like, what are these?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind like the pre-screen ads, but I hate seeing national commercials.
I hate seeing people pretend to just think their sip of Coke is the best thing in the world.
I'm Diet Coke because I'm just cool that
because
way.
I can.
Yeah, I'm just doing me.
It's like,
I drink Diet Coke because
you
I'm
threw
cool
that thing
way.
in the garbage when it was still 3/4 full as soon as you got the last take.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you guys. It's been happening to me for the longest time where I just can't stand trailers anymore. I mean, one, we're just so conditioned to seeing them instantly on internet all the time that it's just, it's normal for us to see trailers. So when we go, we don't want to see them again. And plus, because everything is so instant for us in this day and age, it's not needed to where theaters have to be able to show so much product before the movie.
I think a couple things about this survey. One is I think the ideal is the 3 to 4, and that wasn't an option in the survey, but I think if it had been, that's where people...
I think that would be the most fair.
Yeah, because I think people want some
people like to
trailers.
see good trailers, and they're... And I'm the same way too. It's if the trailers are good, they may turn you on to something that you haven't heard of before. You're like, ooh, that could be good. I'm gonna take note of that.
But my biggest issue, especially with a theater here locally, is that they don't curate the trailers. They don't put children's trailers on children's programming to where it makes sense. They don't limit the amount. They have older versions of the trailer when newer versions are out.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have been out for a while.
Yeah, it's just maintenance. And then they have so many. And we have a large chain theater here. And I've heard that the large theater chains make the film companies pay so that there's no incentive for them to curate or condense the
for
amount
their own
of trailers.
benefit. Like, hey guys, come to our theater to see these cool movies.
Yeah, it's
just like
it's like if I can get 20 trailers on there, that just means more money for me. So there's no incentive for them to do anything. But I really hate taking my kids to a kids movie and having 10 trailers.
That's what I was just gonna say. The excessive trailers really
plus
they're
the
really
theater
a problem.
Promotion stuff too.
Yeah,
that's an additional.
Well, the excessive trailers are really a problem with kids movies because all of a sudden that adds another half hour to a kids movie, and their attention spans are only
I only
90 minutes at the most.
At the most, and then you add another 30 on top of that, and we're bouncing out of our seats before the end of the movie.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a movie, sat through endless trailers, and then when the movie starts, I go, "Wait, what am I watching again? Oh, It Chapter 2, right?" Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not like in a joking matter. I've had like legit moments where I'm like, I forgot what movie I'm in or supposed to be.
It happens to me. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it's a really bad movie and you want to have a couple beers beforehand,
I mean,
maybe wearing off by the time the movie starts.
Yeah.
I think that's for a lot of people too, not just like us film snobs, but also like the casual movie audience. I mean, you see a lot of people showing up like right before the movie starts, like how it actually starts, whereas like the showtime. And
then you're trying to do the math, like, okay, well the movie starts at this time, but
I've reserved
there's gonna
seating.
be at least 25 minutes worth, so we could probably get away with leaving, 20 minutes after.
Right.
Yeah, it's I think theaters should really try and take notice of this research and try to find a way to and the studio should also work with this too, so that way we can have theaters having only about 3 to 4 trailers, maybe less, but I think 3 to 4 would be the right number.
I'm only worried though that what you're gonna get is at that point, if you limit it too much, is trailers from just that film company slate, because they come pre-programmed and they
sometimes
are
already
requested
feels like that
to have
anyway, depending on the size.
Yeah, so like Disney's only ever gonna have 1 or 2 Disney teasers right before a film, and that's not fair. You do, like, as a theater owner, if I'm showing a Disney film but I know Universal Minions animated movie is coming up, I'm going to want to show that trailer. I'm not going to want to be limited because I can only show 2 to 3 and Disney requires the 3 slots filled with theirs. I mean, so there is some curating that needs to happen. It's just more thought needs to be put into it. Maybe on the kids stuff, you limit it to actually just animated kids movies coming out, not all family movies. And then on the bigger ones, you can have more when there's more adults there.
A bit more
kids.
Diverse selection.
Maybe just take but that just takes good theater managers and good projectionists building that pre-screen stuff a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they should at least try and make sure their slate is sensible.
Right, and it's targeted
regardless of the length of it, just make it sensible.
Right, target to the audience that's actually going. And I think that for the independent, smaller theaters, they need to think a lot more about the movies they're actually getting and not just putting whatever trailers on Trail Mix that they get or on the trailer DCP, that they have to actually work with their booker to figure out the upcoming slate and then really work on that.
I honestly do think that'll help the theater experience for a lot of their customers. And I do hope that theaters and studios find that nice middle ground, so that way audiences will be able to have what we're asking for. It's a good theater experience that doesn't take so long with showing so much stuff beforehand.
I think 4 to 6 max. 6 max trailers.
Yeah, which is funny because
quite a bit.
Because within that survey they took, like the common audiences that go to movie theaters are basically like the 21 to 30-year-olds, somewhere in there, and a large majority of them, like, despite them saying like 1 to 3 trailers would be preferred, but I'm okay with having like 4 to 6.
Yeah, I think that the 3 to 6 was, or 3 to 5 was the actual probably range that everybody's comfortable, because people do want more than one. And
one would just feel a little random,
cheap,
and
weird.
Like, sure.
Okay, I guess there was a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3's probably like good for kids
3's
stuff.
a pattern.
Yeah, and then 6.
Filmmaking 101.
6 to for adults if you wanted to throw a couple extras in there, especially if you had
different types of movies, different.
And that's the thing too, like when you go through your social media, like on your Facebook, a lot of ads are for me because of the things I like and how the Googles is tracking me. I get a lot of trailers and clips in my Facebook feed as the ads now.
Yeah.
And so I see this stuff so much. So if I could just limit the trailers and have them be the latest, best, longest trailers.
Yeah.
Maybe even just have the difference in trailers. Maybe just have them be more clips, things you're not going to get on Facebook, or like actual scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we talked about this last week. It's kind of what Warner Bros. Is doing with their exclusive trailers for Tenet and Birds of Prey. But I mean, they're not scenes necessarily. They're just small clips and piled together for like a teaser. But it's kind of what they're doing to where it's exclusive. So maybe if they were, like you said, and I think you said this last week too, if they were shot as maybe more as scenes and not as clips, then that would be a good middle ground.
I was a little disappointed that Warner's brought their reel and didn't include the Birds of Prey.
Interesting. Well,
right?
I mean, you're not. It's
That does makes a little bit of sense because it's still pretty exclusive.
They're standing by that.
What is more exclusive than we had security there? There was a guy ready to take your cell phone. Like, you could not have your cell phone.
I just mean for audiences, not for the crowd there.
Targeted audience. I wish I would have gotten some of that.
I think we'll be able to. I think they'll show it at more conventions once Joker gets closer. Or when Joker gets released. I think we'll see that trailer online.
Is Joker at Toronto Film Festival?
It just was, yeah. As well as Venice. It won a big award at Venice recently.
It won the top prize.
The Golden Lion.
Yep.
It's been won by like Shape of Water and Roma. Like
there's quite a bit more negative reviews coming out of, I think, Telluride, maybe Toronto. I think Toronto, the most recent one.
Yeah, that was Toronto.
Not super, super negative, but I think the narrative of is this a safe movie to release in this time? That's kind of starting to
come about.
Spread itself around.
We talked about it a bit last week, I think.
And some people are just not a fan of how cold and cynical it is. Some people are calling it kind of derivative, but I think the moral viewpoint of the whole, the culture we're in and the type of movie and the type of person that Joker is, people are kind of questioning,
especially the impact of the character, like back in
whether or not it's an ethical decision to have this kind of movie come out, which is a controversial take in and of itself. But people are talking about it though. It's going to the Oscars.
It's getting that buzz. Lots of buzz.
Once you start cancel culturing the films before they even come out, that's censorship. Now you're censoring people.
I mean, that happened with The Hunt.
After
that one shooting.
I mean, to be fair, nobody's saying to cancel this movie, but I don't know how.
But it's criticism
waged
on it.
I don't know how
for even
much I
making
agree
it.
with letting the moral wider picture of our society affect your view of the movie. Like, if the movie is well made, it's well made.
Yeah.
Because
the controversy,
I don't know.
Controversy aside, no, that's not the right way to say it.
What they're criticizing is it being made because of the context of the character.
Yeah.
And that is self-censorship right there. Like, you shouldn't question it. Just be like, okay, let's explore this character. You may or may not like it, but we're going to let it happen. I think with your point with The Hunt it wasn't canceled because of the shooting. It was canceled because conservative personalities on TV came out and said that they were that the hunting was liberals hunting conservatives.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And which is totally, I don't think, what the movie is about.
No,
at all.
I don't think so either. But you're right, though. That is where that came from.
And if anything, it's obvious that the person that they're equating the conservative person to kicks butt and kicks their liberals' butt. So I just don't see why that's a problem. But
it's so sad how predictable it always just comes back to people, reacting instantly and emotionally, reading headlines and not the body.
Yeah,
it's
and then being anonymous online.
It's all noise. I don't know. I'm sure the Joker will be, there's going to be probably lots of similarities. Just the nature of the character is a guy, he's ostracized, isolated from society, and he decides to get revenge. People are like, that's the mindset of a lot of these mass shooters. It's irresponsible to make a movie that could champion those types of people.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of movies that have
really
done
what
it
they're
before.
Doing? Maybe they're just making a Joker movie.
And they make him look sad and pathetic. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
That's that's not the agenda that they're going for, of course, but that's the narrative that some people are painting.
It's interesting when you see a lot of critics, the main driving force of their score is not related to the movie itself, but to the greater picture of how it reflects our, like the time that it's released. Like if this movie was released 10 years ago, I'm sure the reviews would be way more positive.
Right.
I don't know. It's things like that are interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm very interested by that movie. More so than I thought I would be.
I did see a Joker trailer that they brought, but it was one I had already seen, so I was kind of sad about that too.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, we're just at a weird point in the year where they just don't have enough of the fall stuff that you really want to see done yet.
Yeah, once these festivals keep going and we kind of start hearing about more and more stuff, it'll pick up.
Right.
Yeah, once the festivals wrap up, I think Eric and I were thinking about trying to see what's going to be coming out to where we heard lots
contenders.
Of buzz. Yeah, big contenders.
Right now it
what
sounds
to keep
like
an eye out on.
Surprisingly enough, Joker will most likely go all the way to the Oscars.
Apparently Jennifer
Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that was actually at a
She gonna be our dark horse this year?
Maybe.
I'm trying to think. Knives Out has been getting lots of great stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
That trailer is so awesome. It plays so well on the big screen.
Oh, it does. Yeah,
you know what?
Great.
It plays. Like I realized when I was watching Universal's upcoming slate that I just don't do musical movies. I've never seen Greatest Showman. I've never seen Les Mis. I just don't do those song and dance musical movies.
Are you talking about Cats?
Yeah. So I want to preface that before I criticize Cats, but they're like feline forms, and they're creepy. It on the big screen is so off-putting.
They're off-putting on any.
That's so funny.
That's not a controversial thing to say.
I thought I was giving it the benefit of the doubt, but blown up bigger with the
oh god,
that's so funny.
So creepy.
Because I'm kind of on the opposite side. They still look weird, but I do think it looks better on the big screen than on the computer screen.
I'm gonna see it just because my curiosity gets the better of me.
I found a lot of people that are actually really excited, like, I've seen it on Broadway and I can't wait for the movie, but I can't get over how they look. It's just
I feel like anybody who doesn't have a nostalgia for the actual show, thinks that way. But the people who love the musical, yes, I loved.
I mean, even people that love the musical, most of them are like, I don't know what they're doing, but cats.
It's not just like the feline forms are off-putting, but it's the scale in this film is so.
Yeah, they're all tiny.
They're super tiny because they're supposed to be cats.
Yeah.
They made big sets,
but they're obviously not.
For
but they're
these
obviously humans
people.
in cat suits, and
that's why Broadway things are different. Like the Lion King Broadway show.
Yeah.
They're obviously wearing animal costumes, but you know they're obviously costumes. If this newest Lion King was made the cat's way, where they like use CGI to fuse the humans with the animal costumes,
it might get bashed more than it did
man,
now.
That would be.
It's so I think I'm really put off by the scale of it. Like,
I think a lot of people are.
And if it's weird because you don't know where the costume ends, and because of the digital,
they're fused together.
They're so fused. And I
fused.
still, because I'm not familiar with the play, I still don't understand what the story is about, because they just have the scening. They don't have any dialogue.
Something about cat heaven. I know that. Like, which one of us is gonna ascend?
Yeah. Which do you want a better life? I think was the only line actually uttered in that wasn't sung that I could actually understand.
It's gonna be an interesting one.
Oh.
Christmas Day.
Jennifer Hudson.
She's
killed it in the trailer. That's all I know.
Well, her voice is just so fantastic.
Yeah, it's.
If I closed my eyes and just listened to it, I would enjoy it more.
I like this. Oh my gosh! That's what I thought. You open your eyes.
Where were we at? Cats. Yeah,
yeah.
That's coming out December.
That's pretty much the end of it, though.
That was, yeah. That was all I experienced. Rocky Mountain NATO.
Oh man.
Well, we're glad to have you back anyway.
I'm so glad to be back. I mean, those things are really fun, but
they probably wear you out.
I am so exhausted. It was a tough week. Like, there was a lot of issues, like with some bookings and stuff, and you're trying to like do it on your phone and and from the room and a laptop, and it's just so nice to be at your desk with all my stuff here.
It's so nice to be in an office.
It is.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much everything we have.
Yeah,
what
you
are
guys,
the new movies this weekend? Hustlers and
the Goldfinch.
Goldfinch,
which that has not been getting good praise at recent film festivals, but hopefully it will play well. We shall see.
Maybe. It's a long one.
Yeah,
another long one.
We should talk about on the next week's podcast. There was another Hollywood Reporter article.
I think I read that one.
About is the length of films coming out this year killing movie going, because they are encroaching on that 3-hour mark.
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends on if they're entertaining.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, that's
kind of
what
the
any
article,
movie comes down to. You have to earn your running time.
Right. That's what the article said.
Didn't really earn it.
But it also just made a really good point. Like, by going longer running times, you can only have so many showtimes in a day, and you lose showtimes. And then you're trying to compensate by putting it on multiple screens, but then you're taking away times that for other lucrative movies.
And you add 7 hours of previews on top of it.
Yeah, so a 2.5 hour turns into a 3, and a 3 turns into 3.5, and then you need clean time.
Yeah.
But so you're looking at 3 hours, maybe even, because you want to give yourself enough clean time, 10 to 15 minutes, 3 hours, 45 minutes.
And you hurt yourselves like this because you played the Goldfinch.
No,
mistake.
That'll be interesting once we kind of look into it more, kind of, because obviously it worked for Avengers.
That's what the article said, but that's the only one that I think Once Upon a Time did fine. But I really still stand by the fact that they could have lost that 20-minute scene at the creepy old studio ranch, and it would have had a much better run.
That's like how actually I didn't realize that, but like all of that was like pretty much exactly how it was in real life. Like the blind guy living there and having sex with that one woman.
I could have just
them living. I don't know. I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
Once Upon a Time.
I love that scene.
I had no idea what we were talking about there. I missed that.
And we could have had the big sticking points of finding the guy and finding out he's sleeping with her. But it just that there was so much long, awkward silence and creepy walking through.
Suspension building. It's
I didn't need it. I would have had suspense built if it would have gotten to it.
That's
that's like he pulled up and walked up to the creepy house. Would have had me
vehemently.
Would have saved 20 minutes, people.
Well,
20 awesome minutes that I loved.
You just
anyways,
we can definitely talk about this more.
I would have rather
have
podcast. Substituted.
Right, we'll keep going.
Those 20 minutes for 20 minutes more at the very end with the flamethrower. That would have been awesome.
Just to hold it there and just burning her for 20 minutes straight until she's literally.
Well, maybe more minutes of that. Maybe even another fun scene with the flamethrower. Like he goes and he yells at if anybody's left in the house. He's still wearing it when the cops
come. Maybe in the
extended
miniseries version on Netflix.
Yeah. Which will probably happen.
Cool.
But yeah,
those are our 2 new movies.
What? Sorry?
So I was going to say, yeah, those are our 2 new movies.
Yeah, Goldfinch and Hustlers.
We think Hustlers will take it all this weekend.
I think it could.
Maybe. It's going to be a tight race like Eric was saying between that and It Chapter 2.
What are you going to go see tonight?
Hustlers.
Yep. What are
I
you
thought I was going to see the Goldfinch yesterday, but then I realized that there was no early show. So, I mean, I feel like now I have to see Goldfinch.
Right.
I don't really want to see it that bad anymore.
It is at our theater now?
Yeah, there just wasn't an early show.
I saw Abominable, so I did my good deed for this week.
I don't know if I find time.
I was hoping to see that one too, just to check it out.
I don't want to go see strippers and Goldfinch.
Don't
I don't
worry,
see
I'm going to see strippers.
Thank you for taking the one for the team. And then I don't want to see a mommy blow up. So you two need to each find your niche and take it for this week.
Eric's niche is sadness, and mine is strippers.
Yeah. Strippers.
I'll put it that way, I guess. Okay.
All right.
I wonder if your girlfriend would agree with that.
She's. All right. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. She even listened to this.
We'll see. No.
She
doesn't
either. Oh, you guys. My husband listens to this.
That is very sweet of him.
Do you make him?
Yeah, we listen to it on the car.
He's probably like, I already hear these 2 enough.
In fact,
I
I
don't want it
listened
anymore.
to last week's and the week before on the way down to Spokane.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I want to catch up.
I want to catch up with their
hear
material.
our voices
It's a little weird to listen to myself, but then I forget about what is said in that podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good part. And then I like listening to it with somebody else.
Good point. Good point, Cody.
Yeah.
Oh, another good point.
This Cody girl is pretty smart, and Ken's like, yeah, it's you.
That'd be so creepy if that's how it was. I just am like, oh, there's a really funny part. They said something really funny here coming up.
Just so full of yourself.
Oh, thanks.
No,
I said I wasn't talking about
joke.
me.
Just championing us
So
over
the
here.
guys said something great.
Oh,
We do
my
tend to
bad.
do that.
Yeah. A lot of the time.
Might be more Eric now than Kyle.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's
okay
very
with
fair.
Sounded really smart in this. Kyle, I don't know.
Nah, he's the dingus of the group.
Strippers, you know.
Strippers.
You probably went and saw strippers earlier in the day.
High quality strippers, though, apparently.
That's what they're saying. Don't take my word for it.
Okay.
We're going to find out his stripper spirit guide when he comes back next week. Are you more a Cardi B? Are you more the Jennifer Lopez?
We'll find out next week, huh?
He's totally the Lizzo.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, I think
All
that's
right.
it.
Have a good
I feel
weekend.
like I've said that like 5 times.
I'm going to go sleep for the next couple days and smooch with my babies.
Yeah, then.
Cool. All right.
Bye.